Hello, everyone. My name is Joy Mollnhauer, Doctor of Naturopathy, registered nurse, and nurse coach. I have the great privilege of living in sunny Arizona, USA. I am very happy to be here today to share some information that I've been gaining over the last several months on resilience and insights. The topic of my presentation is out of the box with resilience and insights. The concept of resilience has been changing my life. My deep desire is to share and pass it on to others. The theme of unity for this conference is powerful in the aspect of world unity for the planet. I believe we as the inhabitants of this planet have a growing awareness and desire to move away from our preconceived differences and embrace the oneness of mind and feeling that is the core of our humanness and the connection we feel from the depth of our hearts. With focusing on unity for the planet, it excites me to have the opportunity to hear the multiple ideas at this conference that will be shared. I anticipate the end product will be powerful, with all of us leaving the conference with a wealth of inspiring ideas to act on in our personal and community lives. I know the perspective of everyone will be expanded exponentially. The ideas I wish to share in this presentation definitely are an expression of my heart. I will be commenting on the importance of learning to observe and develop awareness of your thoughts and how you contribute through thought to your life. How you contribute through thought to your life. I hope you got that concept. To start, let me ask the following questions. What does thinking outside the box mean to you? What boxes are you locked into? What would you change in your life if you believed you could? Hold on to these thoughts and explore them with the goal of deciding what new direction you might move in. I personally am learning to recognize when I limit myself to being inside the box. In particular, I plan to share information and thoughts on resilience and insights. I accept what is required for me to get out of the box is to examine my usual ways of doing things and determine what limitations exist in that usual. The next step is creating different ways to achieve different outcome and to allow my imagination to create what that might look like. An excellent thought and suggestion that was given to me was if you are involved with a group of people participating in a particular project, a wonderful way of brainstorming is to actually take paper and pencils and make a drawing. You do not have to be an artist to do this. By putting your thoughts on paper in a drawing, you're going to be drawing on your frontal lobe, which is designed to be creative and give you new ideas. So what happens once you've done your drawing is you share it with others, the others in your particular group working on that project. And in the sharing, amazing new ideas can surface. And regular brainstorming is always valuable as well. But this is one step beyond just talking in a brainstorming session. Let me back up here a little. With thousands of thoughts passing through our brain every second, it is no easy task to grasp the thoughts we want. It is a great benefit to deliberately take time every day, and that can be a few minutes only if that's all you have, to observe our thoughts. They move so rapidly through our minds, it requires concentration. Closing your eyes and sitting in a quiet place is the best environment, particularly if this is a new project for you. Another step towards gaining self-awareness can be allowing yourself to focus totally on what task you're doing. This, as an example, could be you're washing the dishes. And this would be hand washing the dishes. You would be feeling, maybe focusing on how the water feels against your skin. You would be focusing possibly on how the dishes look different after they were clean. Maybe you have a window in your kitchen and you'll be looking outdoors and seeing what you can see there. And best of all, the time taken to just capture your thoughts about doing those dishes can sometimes bring some new clarity to you. I strongly believe there's a vast potential wealth of thoughts that exist through resilience and insights for us to work with in leading us out of the box. Resilience is a concept I recently have explored in my personal and professional life. I have delved deeply into the powerful place resilience can play in individual lives as well as my own. The definition of resilience that I've been working with as a nurse coach is resilience is not being bound by circumstances, not being bound by the past. Again, I'll repeat that. Resilience is not being bound by circumstances, not being bound by the past. This is huge, as it leads a person who totally embraces this definition to examine past circumstances they are being owned by, with identifying when their focus is on thoughts in the present moment and monitoring when thoughts are outside themselves. A new freedom is experienced. Their movement through daily life becomes an experience of flowing like a river with it, rather than against and resisting it. The amazing outcome is a quieter mind that allows goal achievement and an increased ability to help others. We can accept ourselves for our nature as human, with the times we slip and our difficult emotions take over. But the good news is, we move closer to becoming the best possible version of who we are and living our true potential. Resilience includes the ability to adapt. It is a dynamic lifestyle that puts you in the driver's seat of your life journey. An example of personal resilience I wish to share with you is a patient I grew very close to who had horrific cancer. She had the insight to put pretty items in her bathroom where she was spending hours controlling the bleeding from cancer lesions. She also purchased a beautiful little fish that she put in an attractive fish bowl, and she gained much joy in how that little fish interacted with her in an obvious dance when she drew near. In addition, she demonstrated incredible resilience in her ability to not dwell on her discomforts and always greeted everyone who arrived enthusiastically and a genuine welcome from her. She was such an amazing example to all who were privileged to interact with her. In a nutshell, you could say resilience is about adapting well to life, not about getting rid of the pain of living. Resilience includes stepping forward and taking action to deal with your problems and meet the demands of daily living. But also it includes at times stepping back to rest and re-energize yourself. An example, if you lose your job, short term you might bounce back by finding another job. But why not take the opportunity to bounce forward by looking for chances to learn new skills, to find an even better position with more growth potential? As the saying says, as one door closes, another one opens. So it's good to be open to that door opening. While it is true that resilient people expect positive outcomes, they also understand that achieving those results will require effort on their part, sometimes a tremendous effort. More importantly, they believe that regardless of the way things work out, they will rise above the challenge and will be okay. We are all born with some measure of psychological resilience, as well as the ability to increase our capacity over time. Any potential increase naturally depends on commitment and effort. Yet, it's important to understand that our level of resilience can decline over time if we fail to use it. By effectively managing life stressors and challenging ourselves on a regular basis, we can maintain our ability to be resilient. But even better, we would like to increase our ability. So highly resilient people experience problems just like anyone else. They just appear to be less affected because they choose not to be defined by their circumstances. They are able to transcend the pitfalls of stress, uncertainty, and negativity because they believe in their ability to forge their own path through life's challenges, embracing the lessons and viewing hard times for what they are, temporary. I challenge you to shift your perspective from the familiar image of bouncing back to resilience as an empowering force for growing forward. There are many stories of people who have experienced positive change in their life after recovering from a crisis. Their growth does not come about as a result of adversity, but is the result of how they choose to respond to the experience. The following qualities are valuable in demonstrating personal psychological resilience and certainly serve as a goal for all of us. Confidence, accountability, self-awareness, adaptability, sense of purpose. I'll repeat those because they're all key items. Confidence, accountability, self-awareness, adaptability, sense of purpose. The statement, "You are not what happens to you, you are what you choose to become," is a profound statement in describing resilience. Again, you are not what happens to you, you are what you choose to become. Powerful. I have experienced numerous personal observations of resilience. I started off a lifelong relationship with the monarch butterfly in a classroom as a 12-year-old student. My teacher took us out to a milkweed patch, and we all brought in monarch butterfly caterpillars. We had the opportunity in a little jar that we kept replacing leaves to watch that caterpillar transform until it reached the point of making its chrysalis and then finally becoming a butterfly. Thus, I really had a very wonderful experience with monarchs, and it was added to when my children were young, and we raised more monarch butterflies. One year, we actually had 100 monarch butterflies take flight from our home on our bushes, and we witnessed a good number of those. So the reason I'm bringing up the monarch butterfly is an example that we had some friends of mine and I had to observe resilience in nature in a very powerful, profound way. I was living in the country at the time at a community setting, and one day we had a truckload of firewood dumped off the truck onto the ground. As we piled the firewood, we were amazed to find a perfect monarch butterfly chrysalis, totally unharmed, except for having been knocked off the piece of firewood the caterpillar had chosen to create its chrysalis. This was actually a fairly drastic situation because if a butterfly tries to get out of a chrysalis when it's not hanging freely, it becomes very fragile and its wings never expand. So the outcome is it does not fly and it eventually dies. So this chrysalis, a creative friend of mine, managed somehow to attach the tiny little stem on top of the chrysalis to the top of a lid. And much to our delight, a number of days later, the butterfly did emerge perfect and eventually took flight when it was ready. We were more than pleased and happy. A second example in my life observing the resilience in nature was about a special double impatiens plant. It was a beautiful pink with double layers of petals where the regular impatiens has one. I had taken cuttings and put them in the water to root. Unfortunately, I lost track of time, and when I finally checked on the cuttings, my water had evaporated and the cuttings were totally wilted, looking like I had lost them. However, I wanted to give them another chance, so I quickly added water to the jar and waited. Much to my relief and happiness, the next day, these cuttings stood strong and straight. With the diligent care I gave them after this lesson, they rooted, and I was able to plant them in dirt to become happy, healthy plants. Another example of resilience is my mentor who has severe vertebral deterioration. She walks independently to the amazement of her doctors, who tell her she should be confined to a wheelchair and be totally dependent on others. Her circumstances of pretty extreme pain at times does not stop her. She makes sure she stays independent and is a great example for everyone she knows. Another example of resilience is the story of Dr. Joe Dispenza, one of my favorite authors. He fractured his neck vertebrae in an accident and adamantly refused surgery from the surgeons who begged him to accept it, because in his heart he was convinced he could heal, which he eventually did after much effort, time, and perseverance. Insight is the other topic I wish to touch on today. Developing insight into your own life can make your life more meaningful. It can also help you better understand yourself as a person and others. By studying yourself as well as the world around you, you can discover new truths about your life and identity. Such an endeavor can take a great deal of time and energy, but it is well worth it. My experience working with clients is the discovery that people tend to belittle insights they gain. There's a tendency to react with, "This is a no-brainer and so obvious. Why did I not see it long ago?" Of course, the more powerful way to react to every insight gained is with celebration and success, as your life is now enriched and expanded. An amazing additional result can be observed in the expansion of other parts of your life from an individual insight. Insights come at the most unexpected moments. Be prepared to welcome them and celebrate the truth you now have gained. Exploring your world in an active, purposeful way will increase your chances of experiencing more insights. Increasing your awareness daily, you can learn more about the world you live in. A bonus can be such a clear understanding of how this world you exist in has shaped your life. Insights can increase if you choose to broaden your horizons. Some ideas are to take a class on a brand new topic, to read about a new idea, to visit a place you have never been, or to have conversations with strangers to gain new views in life. In closing, I invite all my listeners to think back over their lives. At times, they demonstrated resilience when they went beyond circumstances or the past events, and when they experienced insights. It is valuable to recognize those examples and celebrate them. Resilience, similar to other qualities we demonstrate in life, need to be nurtured. I also encourage each of you to practice becoming aware of your thought in the moment as the very most powerful tool you have. I already mentioned it is no easy task to become aware of your thoughts. When you work towards more of your life being in present time, you allow yourself to be free of your past and of your future. It has been a wonderful privilege to be part